Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, I don't want people to be like, you're jumping on the bandwagon, you're doing it for views, but I wanted to give my opinion on the new Tarte Shape Tape Foundations. I have both the hydrating and the matte. I spent my hard-earned money on these foundations, but luckily there's a return policy because, honey, I got some comments. Not just, this is not just gonna be like a review because I'm not gonna show it you guys what it is. I'll give you like some tidbits on what I think about them, but I don't recommend picking them up at all. I think that there are better foundations in the market that do what each of these claim that they do at a fraction of the cost and with a higher shade range. So if you're thinking about getting these just because you love the concealer, nix that idea. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your money, so I can't tell you what you can and cannot do with your money, but I do think that there are other foundations that are better at a fraction of the cost and have a higher range. That's just my personal opinion, so if you want to know my thoughts, then please keep on watching. On Monday, January 15th, Tarte released their new Shape Tape Foundation. They came up with a hydrating formula and a matte formula. Now this foundation is supposed to mimic the concealers that everyone and their mama loves, that everyone and their mama uses. The issue was Pop Sugar put out these pictures, which I put on each side of the shades, and everyone was like, major side eye. It was like 13 shades of light and 2 dark shades. Like it just, there wasn't any. I was like, are there even any real medium shades? If you're new to makeup, like color isn't a spectrum. It's not just, okay, we have porcelain, we have fair, we have medium, we have tan, we have dark, and we have deep. In each of those sections, if you want to call them, there is a range in and of itself. So in porcelain, they have their own like micro range. And that's what makes making foundations really difficult, because it's such a wide like line, if you want to think of it that way. If you want to think about how Tarte make their foundations, this is the line of the spectrum, right? This is the lightest you can go, basically, and here's the darkest. Tarte was like, we're gonna follow majority here, and then we're gonna give you this much over here. Some in the middle of the tan spectrum got lost. A lot of the deep, all of the deep dark, besides the 2 shades that they came out with, was lost, and you just had this like big focus on light. And I'm just sitting here just like, I'm not asking any brand to make 30-60 shades of foundation because it is expensive. Undertones are really difficult to work with. But if you're coming out with a foundation for your most popular product, your most talked about product, wouldn't you have put more thought in, if you're gonna do 15 shades, do like 3 porcelain fair, 3 medium, 3 tan, 3 dark, 3 deep. So like, while it isn't gonna accommodate everyone because there is gonna be a wider spectrum, at least you're more inclusive. Why would you do, out of the entire spectrum, the majority here when you're leaving out an entire, like, I just don't understand. On the internet, I noticed a lot of people were mad about the shade range. They're like, Tarte, how could you come out with these colors? Like, what about women of color? And people were outraged, and rightfully so. Like, after Fenty, you would think that you would give a bigger line. Now they're saying, we're coming out with 10 additional shades. Now there's a lot of rumors with these 10 additional shades. Some people are saying that they're all for dark skin. I can't find that anywhere. So if there's an article or anything, or where you saw that, you read that or heard that, please leave in the comments down below, because I didn't see that. Everyone and their mama keeps saying that, and I'm like, where does it say it? Because I've read the Pop Sugar and they just said that they're going to include more inclusive shades. But here's the thing, this isn't the first time that Tarte has expanded a line from such a small number to a bigger number, and I'll get into that later in the video. Again, with the 10 shades, now people are saying that it's actually 5 shades for each like finish. But I was curious because everyone just like, Tarte, how could you do this? Tarte, I'm really disappointed in you. You're like my top brand. How could you do this? Why would you? I'm not going to support you anymore. And I'm just like, I'm all for not supporting Tarte anymore. And I'm not trying to be rude or negative or anything like this, but honey, Tarte has never been inclusive. I went on their website because I was just like, let me look at their other foundations, because I have not really tried Tarte foundations besides the water one. And that actually came out 2 years ago when Tarte Shape Tape came out. It was actually an exclusive launch to Sephora, while the Shape Tape concealer was an exclusive launch to Ulta. And when that one first was released, I think in February or March of 2016, it only came out with 12 shades. And people were just like, you only came out with 12 shades of foundation. And again, 12 shades, majority light. Then they came out, I believe, in December of that year with 9 more shades. And while there are more darker shades in the water than there are in the Shape Tape right now, it's still like, their darkest shade is mahogany. But I digress, okay? I felt like they should have used this foundation to expand their range, similar to how NARS went from having foundations that had 19 shades to, you know, over 33. So I felt like Tarte definitely could have stepped up the game. This was Tarte's chance to basically put their foot into the market and say, hey, we're gonna create an inclusive line. This is our top selling concealer. We want to make a bomb foundation. We're gonna do a bunch of shades. And they didn't, because they went with colors that they've done over and over and over and over and over again. And their excuse of the 10 additional shades later, they did this in 2016. And I don't understand. Like, I have a question for their product development team. When you're making these products, do you not think, okay, this is our top selling concealer, every influencer is talking about this concealer, we want to make a mark, we want to stand up and basically say, in our makeup community, we're inclusive, we want to be one of the top brands, we want to do it, even though we didn't do it in the past, we want to change. If you're unsure, because I do understand undertones, sometimes when you get to deeper complexions, I know some of my friends, when they put on foundations that are deeper, like they come out red or orange, and just like the undertone doesn't work. I understand that. It's really hard for you to think, okay, what works for them, because what works for me is not going to work for somebody with a deeper, darker complexion. You know, let's think logically here. Instead of going out into their consumers or beauty bloggers or beauty influencers and asking, okay, these are the type, we want to come out with a foundation, but we want to make sure we create an inclusive line. What undertones, like what shades, like speak to us, give us input. Was that lost in the sauce? Because I'm confused. I think that's where they missed the mark. I think, and their marketing team too. I was just like, girl, why aren't you working together? Why aren't you speaking to one another? Because it's not just one person, it's the whole teams. Did no one think, hey, we got 12 shades of white, cream, egg, like beige, just like off-white, and we got 2 dark shades, and then we have a tan shade in the matte foundation, I think, that looks orange. No one thought that was wrong. No one thought, let me go out into the market and see. And now we're coming out with 10 shades later. It makes women of color feel like an afterthought, and that's what makes it so difficult to pinpoint, like to basically support a brand. I got questions. Like, did no one think that I was like, as a business, not even as like somebody who loves makeup, not somebody who creates it, as a business, you didn't think it was a good idea to expand your range? I mean, you've never done it in the past, so I mean, but didn't you think, okay, this is the year 2018, we're gonna expand our range so that we cover everyone? Or at least say, hey, instead of, you know, we can only afford 15 shades, right? Let's break it up. We have to make sure that we have an equal amount between, you know, from the lightest to the darkest. Because unfortunately, right now, we can only, you know, afford this much, right? Because we've had this argument. Women of color still buy makeup. Women with darker complexions buy makeup. You just don't want to cater to the market because of what? Was Fenty not an example of the darker shades sold out like hotcakes? Like, there are so many other brands out there, and I'm like, Tarte, you got one job. Your product and development team had one job. which is to develop a product that you can sell. And here's the thing, people are just like, if you have this mentality that, oh, they created shades that they know we're going to sell more now, honey, my friends who are a lot darker than I, in the winter, do not become my shade. I hope that this is a lesson for any brand that wants to come out with a foundation. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion on the foundation. I don't recommend you spending your money on that. There are a billion and one foundations out there that do what this foundation claims, and better and cheaper, and has a wide variety of shades selection. I cannot recommend a product that my close group of friends cannot buy, because before I speak to you guys on makeup, I speak to my friends on what I like, even if they don't want to hear it. They're the first group that I speak to on, hey, like, I'm really loving this highlighter, I'm really loving this eyeshadow, I'm loving this. How am I supposed to recommend a product to my own friends when they ain't got a shade to them? So why would I recommend something to you guys that I can't recommend to my best friends? You know? And I'm not trying to be hateful, I'm not trying to be spiteful, I'm not trying to do this for the views. I feel like I'm just giving you my opinion. You could take it, leave it. Like, I'm not trying to be negative. I just have a lot of questions for Tarte, for their business model, for their business company, that I think they definitely need a full revamping. If you like this type of video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helped me and I truly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and when you do, don't forget to tell your friends so that they can tell their friends and 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 their friends, so that we could all be part of this great big familia. Follow me on my social media, my Snapchat, my Twitter, my Instagram. Slide up in those DMs. I want to hear from you guys. As always, I hope you truly enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.